Great.
Thanks.
Just edit me out before you put it on YouTube.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming this evening. My name is Colton. I am a financial aid counselor in the church building, and I want to thank you again for coming on this evening. This workshop here on soft skills spotlight is kind of revolving around, different skills that students on campus kind of, have developed to further help their professional development going forward. So this panel that we have here today is comprised of both students and supervisors who employ, students on campus or off campus as well. So I will first start off by having our panel introduce themselves. Students, if you could tell us where you're from, what year in school you're in, your major, and your current job. And our supervisors, please tell us your name and, where you are employing students at.
So I'm Liz Henson. I'm a third-year senior. My major is entrepreneurship, and I work front desk at the church building.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chase Southwick. I'm a sophomore here studying automotive marketing and management, and I work in admissions as a student ambassador.
I'm Tara Welch. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at the Rock Center for Youth Development.
I'm Carla Spaeth Yost. Currently the department chair of the Hospitality Management Program, but I also run the the HOC Student Life Center and the NADA Hotel Facilities and Event Planning.
My name is Owen Wright. I'm a sophomore here and I'm studying entrepreneurship, and I work for Northwood University Media Services.
My name is Carlos McGee, and I work for the Greater Midland Community Center, and I'm also the athletics coordinator for Midland Public Schools for middle school age students.
Thank you. So the way that we have this workshop set up is kind of open-ended to where either you students can either ask the panel some questions that you may have or may be thinking of, but we also have some questions on hand too to kind of get that ball rolling. So to start this off, does anyone in the audience have any questions that they want to know about right now or anything like that? No? Okay, we'll just go right into it here. So first question I have is for our supervisors. It's what are some key skills you believe students develop through working? That could be any of you.
Some key skills that we feel that we implement at the Rock is time management skills, how to balance your work life with your school life. It's really important to know how to do that. And we also do a lot of training with CPR, first aid, Safe Talk. So we offer a lot of opportunities for training as well. So those key skills will help carry you through your career and potentially give you some tools for your future job after you graduate from the university.
Some of the key skills that we are looking for in hiring our students are teamwork, communication skills, because when you're working with kids, it's very important that you communicate, and also being able to work as a team, not only with your supervisor, but also with your other core coaches as well. So those are some of the skills that when I'm looking to employ, those are what I'm looking for as some skill sets.
Both at the HOC and the Bennett for me, HOC and the NADA, critical thinking skills are one that you definitely start to learn and develop within those different job sets, because there are situations that happen and occur right then and there that you need to process through. Time management for sure, and making sure that your communication and interpersonal skills and those soft skills definitely have to be grown upon at that point.
And then for our students, can you tell us how those time management and communication skills have kind of like helped you throughout either your schoolwork or, prioritizing, different tasks between, your classes and working, and how you think that will be helpful going forward?
I think my time management skills with my job has definitely helped with my schoolwork, because I've been able to plan out my day, and having like a set schedule for work has definitely prepared me for the workforce as well. Having that daily job every single day and every week continuously has definitely helped prepare me.
Yeah, I would say it's very good. It keeps you busy. They are very flexible with your schedules and working for the school. Like they'll have tours, they'll schedule between your classes for you. So it is really helpful. You go to a class, go to a tour or something else like that, working in admissions. So it really kind of helps you, stay busy and manage your time well. So.
It definitely helped my time management skills because working for media services, we have to be at certain places on campus at a certain time. You can't be late. You can be early, but definitely not late. And if you are, then events like this might not go well and it might fall off track. So definitely helps when you're doing your schoolwork as well.
Awesome, thank you. So our next topic that we have here is on teamwork and collaboration. So for our supervisors, can you tell us, in your opinion, how do student employees contribute to your work culture or your team environment?
I think for us, it just makes life a lot easier when we can work as a team to build. And I always tell our coaches when they're hired, it's not about the wins and losses. It's how you progress throughout the season and how you watch your team grow, how the kids start to pick up on, taking on your identity and implementing your style of play, whether that's, in volleyball skills or basketball skills. And I just think, when you can see the team gel by the end of the year, that's the beauty of the teamwork and being involved.
Again, in my environment, making sure that you build on your communication skills, especially because with the entities that I work with, we work with external. So we work with a lot of the community members, but we also have our internal clients, which are other Northwood University departments. And so that team camaraderie and building is really important because you're working with both departments and internal and external groups. And so that communication becomes key because you need to support each other in order to get to the end goal.
And I would say our student employees really contribute to our work culture and environment because we get to have fun and work with kids every day. And it's really nice to have that perspective of different age groups working for the organization. We get really cool new ideas, and we're able to allow you to bring in your creativity. And maybe you love playing sports and you can do sports with the kids, or you love doing arts and crafts. So we really like to hone in on your hobbies and teach you how to lead a project and lead a group activity.
And for our students, can you tell us what ways your job has improved your ability to work with others?
For me, since I work the front desk, I get to interact with so many different people that walk through the door. And whether they come into the office, they think, oh, I don't know where this building is, and I get to help them. And it really makes me feel good that I'm able to help so many people.
Yeah, in my job working in admissions, you get to work with a lot of incoming students and their families, their parents. So it is a great way to, work with them, get to talk to them about the school. Kind of teaches you almost like sales skills to try to, you're selling them on Northwood, you're telling them everything you love about it. So it really helps improve with that for sure.
For media services, you're not working with just your team, but you're working with contracted companies that will come work for Northwood. Like for commencement, we work with a company, West River Lights and Sound. So you have to work with their team members, not just your team members, but with their team members as well. And there can be some conflicts, but everything has to get done one way or another.
Okay, so this next set of questions that we have here is kind of, revolved around kind of your post-graduation plans and kind of how, working on campus helps develop those different skills throughout your time here. So our question for our supervisors is, how does working help students learn responsibility and accountability, both in their professional and their personal lives?
I'll start off. Okay. So obviously work ethic is core and responsibility. Making sure that you do what you say that you're going to do and take responsibility and accountability for that, which obviously reflects towards the Northwood idea. Also in that problem solving, or again, in one of the other areas, we do have a financial responsibility as well. So making sure that you are financially responsible with your job duties, and then the critical thinking skills of being able to think quickly on your feet and resolve issues.
I would agree with everything she said. I think with our roles at the RAC, we have a lot of responsibility for youth development. And so thinking about how you are responsible for someone else. So you showing up to work, you showing up on time, you showing up with like 100% attitude that you really want to have a positive experience today. All of those make a really big difference as you lead young people and as you guide them into what they love to do. So we say that that's a real good responsibility because that's also how you can lead a team when you move into your career. Even if you're having a bad day, you still need to show up and put on a smiling face and be there for your team. And so we say that's the same idea when you show up for our kids. You have to be there for them, and you're going to have to be there for your team someday. So we feel like that's a really good responsibility to learn.
I would echo what both of our panelists have just said. I think when you're working with kids, you need to have that positive energy for them to help them also develop their positive energy. If you come in and have that positive, attitude, that carries a long way when you're working in the workplace. And I just think part of, development when we're hiring coaches is that, they have that autonomy to work and grow with kids on a daily basis. And, that, again, that positive mental attitude can be so contagious and make the workday go by a lot faster, but also allow you to grow and enjoy your experience.
Thank you. And then for our students, can you let us know how working has helped you build like some professional relationships or some possible networking connections for, some job opportunities post-graduation?
I would say, go ahead.
I was going to say, absolutely for me. In the building that I work with, there's a whole lot of like higher up people that work there. And so seeing their faces regularly gets me like a higher edge compared to other people, I would say. And it actually has given me the opportunity to apply to some jobs at Northwood because that's kind of what I want to do with my life. Since having this job at Northwood University, like in the church building, that's made me decide that's kind of what I want to do post-grad.
Giving tours, I've noticed actually, I've met a lot of alumni that have brought their kids back to tour Northwood, wanting them to come to the school. So I've been able to make a lot of connections through that with their parents who are alumni, maybe in my industry, maybe in another industry, but that's really helped make a lot of connections.
I'd say working here, we work on a lot of panels like this one right here where I get to have one-on-one conversations and open up relationships with people who are in higher up positions in the government, corporate management positions, and other stuff like that with higher ups that can potentially give me jobs or other work opportunities later on in life.
Thank you. I'm going to open this back up real quick just to see if any of the students have any questions or if you want me to just keep moving forward. Is there anything that you guys have offhand? No? Okay, cool. So the next questions here kind of focus around leadership and taking initiative. So for our supervisors, can you tell us how you balance giving student employees their different independence and then also telling them how they ensure they receive, the necessary guidance and supervision from you as well?
I would say for me, I really want our students when we hire them to come in and, I always say, be you. Our kids will learn from you and grow from you. And then, from there, I just say, hey, we work together with the kids, but the guidance that I give is I'm hands off. I want them to learn and grow. And then if I always ask, do you have any questions? What can I help you with? I check in periodically to make sure they're okay. And, just give them any guidance that they request from me. And that's pretty much how I, handle most of our coaches when we get the students from Northwood.
I'd say for me, it's kind of different, two different areas. If I'm looking at the Hawk situation, clear expectations during the training process, making sure that you create those developer relationships even with your coworkers, because they're going to have to be there to support you and you support them. In the hotel side, because it's more of an independent, they do have a smaller group that they work with. Clear expectations are still the main authority process, but also giving feedback no matter which area it is, providing that feedback so you're able to grow from it and then continue on with your learning and your development in that area.
So at the Rock, when you're working with kids, everything sometimes happens on the fly. So we focus a lot on training and giving you the skills that you need so you can be prepared in different situations with the kids. So we host monthly trainings that are based upon situations that have happened in program. And we work through that as a team and in small groups to talk about, okay, if this situation happened, how would you handle it? And so our goal is to give you those tools so you can feel confident when you face those situations when you're alone with kids. So we really like to give you that independence and critical thinking skills so you can be the best leader that you can be when you're here in our program.
Thank you. And then for our students, can you tell us in what ways has working helped you build different leadership skills?
I've been able to develop my leadership skills by talking to so many people. I've been able to support my coworkers by being an example. I worked at my job all 3 years of college, and so they definitely look up to me and for roles and opportunities that they're at for the university.
What's nice too, we get to do like sometimes big groups of high school students, bus tours, stuff like that, working in missions. So you kind of get to be the leader of this group of kids who is looking into, they don't know what they want to do, where they want to go to college. You kind of get to lead them, show them around, and answer any questions that they have about their futures. So that's kind of a nice way to build leadership skills.
Yeah, I kind of piggyback off what they said. When you're working with other outsider groups, you work here, so you're in charge, and you have to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, as well as everybody in your group. If somebody falls out of line or is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you have to be able to step up and tell them what they have to do. And yeah.
And then this next section here is kind of about different feedback and evaluation that our supervisors kind of give. So for our supervisors, can you tell us how you provide, your feedback to student workers and how feedback kind of helps, build different skills or, different things they can work on as well?
We try to do our feedback quickly and in the moment so we can help support you when you're going through different situations at the organization. A lot of the feedback may come from your team lead, program manager, or a different person in the organization, but we try to provide that feedback in the moment so we can help build your skills and to ensure that the program is running smoothly.
I think at the end of the season, we always have our coaches end of the year review to provide them with feedback on how things went, how they felt about their experience. A lot of times we also, if they're going to be in the area again, are they willing to come back and still be part of the program? I think feedback is crucial because, especially if they're new at coaching or new at the work environment, they need that feedback to grow their skills and so that they can, grow and prosper as they go up into the future.
Feedback is given kind of at first in a group atmosphere. Because if there's an issue with one individual, that issue might be across the whole area and the whole department. So we look at it as a group approach in the beginning. And then depending on the situation, the feedback might become more of a one-on-one situation. And so then we talk about that. It also depends because I have multiple levels, like in the HOC environment, I have front desk workers, but then I also have supervisors. So depending on the level that they are working in that environment, the feedback becomes a little bit different, but it is more instantaneous when the situation has happened or as soon as we notify the situation that's been happening and justifying that so it's corrected before it happens again.
And then the question that we have for our students is, can you either give us an example of some feedback that you had, or do you have maybe like an example of something where you had to take like an alternative route that, has helped your skills either academically or professionally?
I would say some feedback from my previous boss would be to be more like open. My freshman year, I was really scared and just like afraid to talk to people. And having that job, forcing myself to talk to people every day has really helped me. And having the feedback from my boss to really push me out there and get myself out there has definitely helped a lot.
So feedback that I got from some of my bosses over in admissions is maybe to be more punctual, on time. I'm not the best about showing up early for things or on time. And, sometimes I'd get there for tours, even still early, and the family would already be there. And so just maybe to be, more prepared ahead of time and not, put things off, too long. So that's some good feedback that I've gotten. It's kind of helped me professionally.
I'd say one of the bigger skills that I've learned is adaptability or efficiency. when it comes to setting up big things like commencement, graduation, you have to be quick with things. You have to be on time, and adaptability. If anybody here's worked with electronics, you know that not everything goes right all the time, and it's quite the opposite. Everything goes bad. If something can go bad, it will go bad, and you have to find a way to fix it.
Thank you. And then this next set of questions here is just kind of about like the long-term impact, that working on campus has, kind of developing, like we've said, these skills over your time here. So for our supervisors, can you tell us, either another long-term skill or lessons that you think students, carry with them after graduation?
One good lesson that we have is sometimes plan A doesn't work out, and you need to be adaptable and be ready for plan B or C or D, or like keep going through the alphabet. I think that's a really good skill that we can teach, because some of the other comments about, sometimes technology doesn't work, or maybe you thought that art project was going to work really well and it's just not flowing with the kids. It's a really good skill to know that you have to adapt in real life and in your job every day, and you just move on and make the best of the situation and keep on rolling.
I also agree with adaptability, self-awareness, being self-aware of yourself and then also your surroundings, because the better that you have your emotional intelligence and the self-awareness for yourself, you can then actually help other people grow around you. Problem-solving skills, like I said, with critical thinking, and then also communication and how you work with others. If you develop those, not everybody's ever going to be the same that you're working with. So being able to not only adaptive, but knowing those different communication skills that you need for different types of people can really help you in the future.
And I'll just echo everything: adaptability, flexibility, having the ability to collaborate, with your teammates and things like that are great skills to have when you're going out into the world and, searching for that career. And don't be afraid to take risk. That's, sometimes, it's that risk that turns out to be the best one, opportunity that you ever had. So don't be afraid of the challenge. Don't be afraid to take a risk.
Thank you. And then for our students, can you tell us how, so working what we've talked about pretty much so far is kind of, that kind of job placement and, different skills that, will help you going forward. But can you tell us how working has, maybe improved certain processes or like your way of thinking for, your academics here at Northwood?
I think having those skills of time management has definitely helped with academics, making sure you get everything done. And I try to get everything done before the weekend so I can have some time for myself. And also, I would say having a positive mindset, especially with everything going on. You're really stressed all the time and managing everything, but that positive mindset definitely helps put a cherry on top.
Yeah, definitely agree with the positive mindset and always putting, your best effort in, because sometimes you might get families or incoming students that might not be that enthused. They're still a little shy, and you kind of have to bring them out of their shell, be excited no matter what. Even if they might not be, you still have to be, positive and excited, and, kind of really helps always put your best effort in. So
I would definitely agree with time management. Academics, work, no matter what it is, time management plays a very key role. And I would also say teamwork and division of labor when it comes to working in a group project or working with teammates that you may have here at Northwood University. Everybody has to do their part. If one person's doing all of it, it's not going to be 100%. It's not going to be the best outcome.
Thank you. And then this last section here is just on different, advice from both our supervisors and our students. So for our supervisors, can you tell us what advice you would give to students who are either considering working, or maybe they've started to think about working, but they're unsure of, kind of what opportunities to explore?
I'll go back to what I said. I think you have to, take risks. Don't be afraid. That first job you apply for, it may not come your way. Don't get down. Keep your chin up. Just keep on, reaching and pursuing, the next opportunity, and apply. Maybe you don't have all the skill sets that they're asking for, but you have skills. Apply. You never know what will happen. So I go back to the risk taking, and don't be afraid of rejection, because there's opportunities out there for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel that there's a lot of opportunities out there that are very flexible with your school schedule as well. So start to think about how much time you'd have available to work. Maybe it's 10 hours a week, maybe it's 20, maybe somewhere in between. And look for organizations that are needing help in ways. So, for example, we hired a social media intern from Northwood for 7 to 10 hours a week that works with her schedule. And that is something that we're really excited about. And we work around your school schedule. We help support you where we can. So looking for employers that do those things is really helpful because then you can gain those skills you want. And then one thing I wanted to add to his comments was talking about if you have some skills still apply. And I would say call them and ask them, what skills can I be trained on the job? So sometimes we list skills on those job applications, but some of them we are willing to train you on. And I think it's really good to call and clarify some of those things so you can decide, hey, they're actually going to train me to learn how to do that. And I want to do that in my big career. So take those opportunities to communicate and to ask questions.
If you're thinking about a job here on campus, obviously the job center here is very helpful. They provide you with potential leads. Our career services office and department, they are always willing to help you find positions off campus, whether it's internships, practicums, or that full-time job afterwards. If I'm speaking specifically on campus, for example, in the HOC, I always hire the semester before I basically need you. So for example, applying early is better. If you want to be hired for next fall, then you need to apply in March and April of 25 for fall of 25. Hiring in advance, because then we can get your skill or your schedules and things while you're off summer break and that kind of thing. And it's just a matter of us also posting those jobs with the job center to let you know when we have positions available. The other suggestion I would have is there are some departments on campus that maybe you can walk up to those departments, maybe the library or again, admissions, where you can ask if they're hiring and they might also be able to assist you within that process.
Thank you. And then for our students, can you tell us what advice you have for, other students that are here today or watching online? What advice would you give them if they don't currently have a job or, maybe they're unsure about working?
I would say my advice would be apply, apply, apply. Some work experience is better than no work experience. And you get opportunities that you never would have had if you had not applied for the job here. So apply, apply, apply. You'll get your hours. And like I said, some work experience is better than none. So
I would say for on-campus employment, it's just such a great opportunity that's built into your schedule. So if you are between classes or after class, you got homework to do. They are so flexible with you in pretty much any job on campus. So it is amazing. And then I would say, maybe for like an off-campus job, this is not going to be necessarily the job that you keep for the rest of your life, so do find something that is good for you now. But if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out and it's not for you. This is not, you're not necessarily starting your career right away. We're still young, so don't beat yourself up over it.
I would totally agree. There's a lot of time that is unutilized as a student throughout the day that you're not in class. And if you can use that time to your advantage and have an on-campus job, by the end of the day and by the end of the week, when that paycheck rolls in, you'll be surprised that you actually used your time really well and were able to get paid for it.
Okay, so that is all the questions that we have right now. So we're going to open this back up just as, like another open Q&A session. So Christy here does have a microphone for anyone that does have any questions they would like to ask too.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So after hearing all these skills that these students are learning in their on-campus or off-campus jobs, I just want to go to career services and say, what skills have you heard today that employers are looking for, and how do they maximize those for a big career when they graduate?
Thank you. So I would obviously, and I think I have a lot of students here, which is a good thing. I would definitely tell you that the soft skills, which is the emphasis of this panel, are something that is hard to teach. Most of our people who are hiring our students, most of the companies are looking for those soft skills already there, and they can teach the hard skills. So I appreciate all of you really stressing the soft skills side of what's important for them when they're looking for jobs. And I guess I have one other question for the panel. So if I'm a student out here and I want a job, are any of you three supervisors hiring right now?
I know. I know my boss is looking for people. We have 1 or 2 people that are graduating this December, or the end of this fall semester. So if anybody's looking for a job with media services, you don't have to be super good with technology. We'll teach you. I wasn't very good when I started, but you get to meet a lot of really cool people, work with a lot of nice people at Northwood, and it's a really good job.
We are currently looking for 3 additional out-of-school time staff. The hours are Monday through Friday from 2:15 to 6 o'clock. But again, we work around your school schedule. And we, again, are looking for 3 people to bring onto our team as we continue to expand the program.
I do have a little bit of flexibility right now within the HOC. Full transparency, weekend nights. Full transparency, weekend nights. Every weekend nights.
I'm currently looking for a boys basketball coach starting in January to March, working with 7th grade boys basketball.
All right, who has a question? It's the quietest I've ever heard you guys. There's no running.
So, as leaders, how do you guys continue to motivate your team and your employers, even when times get tough? Like, how do you help your employees focus on your mission and stay positive?
Well, for me, I mean, most of my, employees are coaches. So, I mean, when we're hiring our Northwood students and the candidates that I've had throughout the years have been nothing but positive, and they bring on a breath of fresh energy that our kids just truly gravitate towards because they're kind of close in age. I'm a dinosaur, so they wouldn't adapt to me very well. But with our Northwood students, they have been nothing but a breath of fresh air. Providing positive energy throughout, and it's been a pleasure to have them on board with us.
I think each individual is different. So one, obtaining and understanding what their goals are, and then being able to, I don't want to say like customize, but basically customize their skill sets that they want to learn and be able to incorporate that into their work job setting. That also helps the team as well, because the team is built of anything from freshmen to seniors or even grad students. So because there's such a span of age, there's that team capability to help with that leadership, but each person is also motivated differently. So just because I might motivate one individual in one way, it's not necessarily going to work with that other person the same way. So if I know you individually, then I try and customize that to help, again, obtain your goal, but also the efficiency of the job.
I would say we really focus on celebrations and keeping that positive culture in our work environment. We realize that we talk about a lot of hard things sometimes. For example, we train all of our staff on suicide awareness and how to talk to children about any issues or fears they might be having. And so we talk about a lot of heavy topics, and we want to make sure we always take the time to celebrate. So one simple thing we do to keep up morale is we celebrate birthdays every month. We do trainings and we have cupcakes and have a little bit of a party. And I think it's okay sometimes to relax and to do that with your team. And so we like to do those check-ins to keep that morale really high.
Other questions? What questions do you have?
My name is Dane, and I was wondering, what is your most challenging soft skill, and if there's one you're still working on to improve?
One soft skill that we have found challenging for us, especially through the interview process and through, is communication. We've had a lot of situations where we don't have people show up to the interview, we don't have them call or communicate, email, anything with us. And so it sounds really simple, but we've been having this soft skill issue across the organization of it's okay when plans change, just please communicate with us, email us, call your supervisor, anything like that. And so that's one skill that we are continuing to work on. And it's just really that follow through for yourself to your employer and making sure that you're doing a good job doing that.
For me, I would have to say definitely time management. Like I said, I'm late for everything, and I really need to work on that, especially as you move into your professional career. I mean, Dr. Poole tells us in class, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. So that's definitely something that I'm trying to work on for sure.
My hardest one would probably be time management, but it would be in the sense of getting work done when it needs to be done, not necessarily showing up on time, but the division of when I need to have assignments due by, and same thing kind of at work as well. That would be more in the sense of showing up early rather than late or on time. But when it comes to academics, definitely getting assignments done when they need to be done.
I would say going back to communication and the fact of, even though when you communicate and how it's interpreted and perceived, again, going back to that emotional intelligence, you might be communicating one way and it might be interpreted in a negative manner when it's not meant to be. It's more meant to be in a learning capacity versus in a negative capacity. So that definite communication style all across.
I would totally agree with communication. I kind of struggle with that, especially with this kind of stuff, because it's kind of scary. But doing this kind of stuff has definitely helped me to break out of my shell.
I think, one of the things that I want our, employees to, don't worry about making mistakes. It's okay. You learn just as much from making mistakes than you do for being a perfectionist. And so, you can overcome mistakes and build on it and prosper and all at the same time. So, mistakes and asking questions there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay.
Hi, I'm Toby. I'm on work study to be the esports broadcast director here at Northwood. And so that kind of involves being a leader. I'm involved with social media. I'm involved with marketing, all across the board. I guess what I would ask you guys is it's really hard because everyone's on work study. They're trying to balance classes with all the work they're doing. How do you kind of interact with someone when they don't meet your expectations, or they didn't complete something on time, or they don't come on communication? What's kind of your strategy to help them, don't bring them down, but also make it clear that this needs to improve?
We do learning loops all the time. So in any situation, maybe it didn't go well and it happens. We like to focus on what went well first. So in that whole situation, what did we do well together? And then what can we improve on for next time? So for example, if it's time management, you didn't get the assignment done on time, but you did get it done and maybe it was done really well, then we would say, okay, it looks great, but let's work on that time management to get it on the due date, or maybe a couple days early or something like that. And we just really believe that learning loop opens that communication cycle for us. And you still have to focus on the good. And every bad, there's something good. And so we really like to reflect that when we do those activities.
I think it's important, again, to understand that if you're going to have to provide feedback over that situation, that it needs to be done in a more one-on-one if you can, unless it's a general, depending on what the issue is. You want to make that communication comfortable for both you and the person that you're having to communicate and work through that difficult situation. If it's a training issue, I always do the train, show, do, and review, the basic steps. and go back through that review process. What is it that was a disconnect, or where do we need to fix a part of that process? And then just go back through it again. Do the positive aha moments. How do we correct? And I call it the Oreo cookie: positive, negative, positive. So the Oreo cookie is the 2 chocolate wafers, and the negative is in between. But providing that feedback in that general environment, so you're okay with moving forward.
And I just think, again, echoing the panel so far, it's just, having that positive feedback. And sometimes that positive feedback first, overshadows the negative impact, just make it comfortable for both parties involved. And just, being able to have those honest conversations to make everyone feel comfortable. Because that's the last thing you want to do is, run someone off because it's so brash and overwhelming, and you have to be uplifting in order to have someone grow. And because we've all been there, we've all had situations where we've had to sit down with that superior and have that tough conversation. But you want to try to make as many positives come from that as possible, so that everybody, that person can learn from it.
Other questions? Oh, here we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. I'm a third-year international student from Canada. I would love to know from all of you, what are your favorite techniques for keeping people that you work with motivated?
Have them be involved in sports, athletics. I know for me, that's you have to have a passion for it. I know it's tough and grueling. I think working with the kids is probably the easiest part. I think dealing with the parents are the issue. And I think, from my experience, and I just had one recently, our young students handled that very, very well. And it was through communication. And that's one of those soft skills that we have spoken about a lot up here with the panel. And it's how you go about doing it. Because I tell you what, parents will try to take advantage of young people if they can. And but having the ability to communicate can offset that as well, and kind of take all issues away. So I think you have to enjoy what you're doing and have a passion for it. And with a good employer and a good employee, you can strike a common core there.
I'll piggyback off of that. For motivation, motivation is really an internal drive. If you're not going to like your job, you're not going to be good at your job. So you have to hopefully have the passion for it. The other side of that is the employer. If they can identify that you have that passion, they'll find creative ways. Whether it's, I had one time a group of housekeepers that were working in the middle of August outside cleaning rooms, and we had a miniature snowball fight in the middle of their day, just to kind of get them to relax and have fun, and that helped relax them and motivate them and go back to work, right? So it's, again, individually motivations. I personally don't like a flatline motivation. I don't think that that's fair, because each of us are evaluated on our own abilities, so motivation should be done the same.
Yeah, we like to keep everyone motivated by the positive environment. Not to say we don't work hard, because we do, especially in our office staff. We just finished conference season, so we travel around and go to different conferences and talk about the products that we offer. And I honestly don't even know how many we did. It was a lot. It was like 15 conferences in like 5 weeks. And that's a lot for the size of our team. So the way we keep them motivated is we gave bonus PTO and wanted to celebrate their hard work and said, hey, take an extra day for your work. We appreciate you. And just taking the time to appreciate every single employee for what they bring to the table and how they're valued as a whole team. And we really do our best to do that.
Going once. Oh, got one more.
I was wondering, outside of work and school, what are the best ways to improve your soft skills?
Volunteering, networking, When I was in college, I would travel around. I was an art major, so I traveled around to different galleries in my community, and I requested to volunteer with them, whether it was an artist reception or whatever it was. And I forced myself to greet people, talk to people, network with them, ask them questions about their job and their life and what they're involved with the community. And that was a really great way to practice a lot of soft skills that I learned and that I use every day now.
Yeah, going along with volunteering, I mean, there's so many ways to get involved at Northwood just besides student employment. I mean, I do auto show, Greek life, and you have, fashion show, you have the signature events. All those are great ways to be involved and learn so many soft skills that, and work with lots of amazing people. So a lot of opportunities for that.
I guess if you don't want to have your school involved with it, if you go out to a church, a local church, if you're religious, and just offer to volunteer, or even just go out in public and strike up a conversation with somebody, you'd be surprised how far that can get you in a professional setting. If you get to know somebody at a gas station or just at the store in general, just strike up a conversation. You're going to improve your communication skills no matter what if you're talking to people.
I believe Mr. Corson in Student Life is always looking for people to volunteer. We have a bunch of people in our community that ask for volunteers. So if you ever have some time, and it's a resume builder, as all of you know, anything that you can do to put on your resume is a good thing. So other questions? I'll turn it back over to Colton.
Sure. So just want to thank you guys again for showing up today. We hope that, listening to the panel of different students and supervisors kind of, enlightened you and showing, what different soft skills can do to kind of help you both academically and then, your post-graduation career as well. Just as a quick reminder too, for all these different job opportunities that we have out there, you can either check, with different departments that you closely are involved with, see if they have anything out there. And like this setup here on the panel, keeping tabs on different opportunities on our job board on the portal are always out there for both on-campus and off-campus opportunities too. And those will update, throughout the year. So, maybe something that you don't find interest in right now, maybe a different opportunity will come up, during the following semester too. So thank you very much.
You guys want to